Yo guys, what is going on? Alex Pandrea here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going over some cardistry tutorials that you could actually apply to card magic as well. Card magic, card sleights, card moves. And we are doing it with the new knock trainers, originally called packs, but then we changed the name to hard knocks because I thought that was much funnier. I love puns, especially knock puns. Knock knock. Also, I'll give you a sneak peek at what's going on this week for Christmas and next week's big knock release. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what are cardistry trainers, or in this case, hard knocks? Well, they're basically hard knocks. I did do a video on these before, but I wanted to bring them back because we have 5 new colors that we've added. So in case you guys didn't get the color that you want, or you want new colors, we have the colors right now on the site. Some of them may be sold out by the time you're watching this. So go ahead, check it out and come back and let's learn some moves. So the new colors are orange to mimic the summer knocks. We have light blue to also mimic the summer knocks. So these are summer knock colors. We have the knock sport colors, which are the fancy pink, neon, and green, really bright, vivid colors. Those are cool. And then everybody wanted black, so we have black as well. So before we get into the tutorial, let's roll the trailer clip that we shot for these and then come back and learn the moves. Alright, so that was a video showcasing some of the stuff that I do with it. If you want to learn those particular moves from that video, link is down below to the first video that I shot with these cardistry trainers. But for now, I'm going to show you some more moves that you can learn and also apply to cards as well. The first one could be used as an ending to any sort of cardistry routine, and it looks like this, where you just shoot off the packet from your right hand back onto the deck. You can do it with multiple packets, and this is something I came up with when I was super young. It was actually one of the first things I ever submitted to a magic online shop for being published, so that's how young I was, thinking this was good enough to publish. But it is inspired by a Paul Harris sort of move where you're taking the card and you're shooting it back like this. It's called instant replay, where you're taking the card, you're holding it between the middle finger and thumb, and the deck is placed in the left hand in dealer's grip, waiting to catch it, and you're going to, with the first finger, just come here and shoot it out, and it's going to go off of the thumb, and it's going to be shot this way and turned to a basically 180-degree turn. So it's from here, you're shooting it out like that. And once you get this down, you can do it with 2 cards where you're doing the exact same thing, but the thumb is holding on to the top card, so it's actually moving from here to here, so it's holding on to it a bit more, and you're doing the exact same thing where you're kind of putting pressure with the first finger and releasing it out, and the bottom packet is being released onto the top of the deck, and then from here you could go ahead and do that second one. It has a nice 1-2 feel to it when you do have a packet in the right hand and finish it off like that. Plus it makes that sound, and I think especially for these cardistry trainers, the sound really, at least it soothes me, let's just say that. That sounded weird. So the more sounds that you can make with this, I think the better the overall feel is. So for this one, it's more of an extension or ending of the instant replay move, and it looks like that. You're tossing that card back on top of the deck, and you're keeping your thumb there, and you're going into a one-hand cut, in this case a scissor cut, because the position is right there. And again, that we learned on the first video, which is linked down below. But you're just, yeah, basically doing that, and your thumb goes in there, catches it perfectly, and from here you can take your thumb and extend it onto the back of the card okay, and then do the scissor cut, or you can just come here, do a one-handed cut if that's more your thing, or something else. But the whole idea of these trainers, and I think cardistry in general, now I'm not a big expert on it, but it's to find moves where the ending could be extended into something else, okay? So from here to here, and then from here, what's gonna be really nice is at the end of here, you could go into the next flourish, which, oh Jesus. I like this one because it stems off of a flourish with a deck of cards, but it's much easier to do with obviously trainers because the cards, they could be slippery and go all over the place. These hold together a little bit nicer, and it's basically a way of just balancing the deck, and it looks like it's just balancing on the fingers like that, which is pretty cool. But all you're doing is you're sort of just balancing it on a curled first finger like that. You could actually get it where it balances and you could bring out that first finger almost all the way, but it's bent a little bit to give it a little bit of leverage, but the illusion is there. If you hold it down, that is balancing on the hand. So you're going to start with the deck in a dealer's grip. You're going to take your thumb and move it underneath the packet, okay, so from here to here, and you're going to extend it all the way so it starts peeking out on the other side, all right, and this is going to sort of balance it to begin with your thumb, all right, so it's here, and you're kind of straddling with the pinky to give it a little bit of support, and then put your thumb all the way here where it starts to balance. I guess you could say it's in between the pinky and the ring finger over here. And if you extend your hand, you'll see that you have this position where your thumb is balancing the majority of it, and the corner, the top left corner, is balancing on the first finger. Now you're going to use that to your advantage by coming in with the first finger and placing it underneath for added support. Okay, so it's almost now as if you're doing, there you go, and you're doing that with underneath the deck. And now from here, what you're going to do is you're going to extend the first finger and make sure it's all the way in. So you don't want it here because then you're not going to have enough time to extend. You want it more, you know, curled so that the deck has time to start extending. And when you're extending that first finger, it's going to rotate that deck around, and then you're going to extend all fingers, all right? Now the first finger is, like I said, maybe like this, all right? So it's not extended all the way, because if you extend it all the way, you really need that balance to be perfect, or if not, it's gonna tilt back and forth. So here, make sure it's curled all the way in, slowly come out with it, and then balance it, and then you could give it a little show like that. This is meant to be just done really quickly, and then from here you could come back, and this is the tricky part because now it's balancing. If you do come back, you want to come back on top of the thumb again, so now you're reversing all the procedure. The thumb goes underneath, this comes back around, and then you can come here and then bring it down like that. Or from here, what you can do is you can come out, balance it out, and then sort of toss it into the other hand. If there were cards, you could actually do this and then fan the cards. If not, you could grab this here and then go into something else, but that's it. So it's here, extend out. And then here's another tip that I'm just doing right now that I noticed. If you could see right now, I'm not balancing it correctly, okay? From the top down, you can kind of see that it's wobbling, but your middle finger is there because if it does come down a little bit, you could use that as support to kick it back up, all right? And then go from there. The third one is a super random one. It looks like, that's not what it looks like. The third one is a super random flourish that looks like that I like to do a lot, where you take one packet in the right hand, the left hand's packet is going to do the deck flip, all right? So if you don't know that, it's very easy. I do have a video on it. I will link it down below, but you use your thumb, your middle finger here, and the first finger is going underneath, and it's gonna kick out this way as you toss your hand up a little bit, and it's gonna cause the deck to flip like that. The right hand is holding the card or the packet in this position where it is between the middle finger, all right? The middle finger here is going on the bottom left corner when you're looking at it. All right, so my bottom left corner, and then the bottom right corner when I'm looking at it is going right at the start of the middle finger. So you're holding it like that. All right, just like this, almost as if you're doing some sort of weird palm. Not really. And then the thumb is putting pressure here, and then you're using the first finger to sort of kick it counterclockwise. It's very reminiscent of this sort of flourish at the end over here. So it's just the end part of it like that. And you're putting it together by thumbing off this, coming here, grabbing it, placing it in that position, and then you're holding this packet on top of this packet, and at the same time, you're doing that. So you're here, here, there, and then place it back. So it's just something that I like to do, that I started doing, that you could add in your flourishes. You could also do this with a deck of cards, obviously, and then from here, come here and combine it with the other ones. All right, the last thing that I want to talk about is not really a move or anything in particular. It's more about how we use these to work on our magic and our sleight of hand. And this is what I do most with it. I do fidget with the decks and the Cardistry Trainers and do all of these moves. But the main thing that I like to practice is, obviously because I am a card guy and I love sleight of hand with cards, not necessarily flourishing or cardistry in general as much as I do obviously sleight of hand. So I like to practice moves with the Cardistry Trainers, because once then I put the deck of cards back in my hand, it's going to be much easier, or it'll feel much more fluid when I do these moves with the trainers and then I do it with a regular thin playing card. So one of the things that I do all the time is practice on my top change with trainers, because they are thick and they're noisy. So what I try to do in my mind is to do it as silently as possible. It'll be almost impossible to do it silently unless you do it super slow. But that will help you when you do the regular top change. By the way, if you do want to learn the top change, I do have a video on it. Link is down below. I'm just linking a whole bunch of videos here today. But that is the first thing that I like to do with it. I also like to practice a lot of passes with the Cardistry Trainers because, like I said, that will just make my pass better. And you know, an interesting way to practice with a deck of cards if you don't have the trainers is to put more cards on top of a deck. So now you're working with, instead of 52 cards, maybe 70 cards or 80 cards. And this way, when you go back to 52 cards, it'll feel like, you know, half a deck, and you'll do the moves much easier. But for me, I like the Cardistry Trainers to do your passes, to do all kinds of different things. So you could grab one like this, practice, and place it deeper and deeper into the pile. So start with it 1 on top, then start with 2 on top and do the pass with that, then have 3 on top and do different passes from here. So you're here and then you do that, which helps you again in the long run with cards. So I like to do top changes, I like to do passes, I like to do invisible shifts where you're here and then the packets turn over. So that will be like a half pass, doing this, a gravity half pass. I also like to do cover passes as well, where you're doing a cover pass like that. And just take a look and see where you can use work and add that to your card magic. And I think you will have a much better understanding of the sleights when you do it with these. Alright guys, so there you have it. Those were some of the moves that I like to do with these Cardistry Trainers. Now, like I said, you don't need the actual trainers for them. If you do want some, link is down below. But you could also do these, of course, with decks of cards. And the whole idea about these is to train your fingers and to get them more used to doing the sleights or the moves or the cardistry moves, so that when you do pick up a deck of cards, it is easier for you and your fingers move more smoothly and you look like you know what you're doing. And I think that's the point. Okay, so now what is going on this week and next week for releases? Well, I'm very excited that finally we had some delays in printing, but the Svengali number 2, the second version of the Svengali deck brand, will be released on Christmas Day, 11 a.m. You could go ahead and check out sneak peeks at svengali.com right now, and that is spelled like this. Yes, that's how you spell it, no typo there. That's correct. Svengali.com. So that's going to be released on Christmas, but our big release of the year, and this is something that I've wanted to do ever since I released the Summer Knocks many years ago. Drum roll, please. No drum roll. Alright, well, Winter Knocks are finally coming. Winter Knocks, I've been teasing it for almost a year now, since last winter that I was going to do Winter Knocks, and finally it came together and we are releasing that on the 29th of December. And you can check out all the sneak peeks on my Instagram. We're doing another amazing video with Nick Suriano, which is just going to be mind-blowing as usual. So look out for all of that coming up this week, next week. Look for the sneak peeks, look for the decks. Enjoy the Cardistry Trainers, enjoy the holiday season. I really hope you're having a good time spending it with your friends, your family, and thank you again for supporting this channel. And other than that, I guess we'll see you very soon on the next video. Take it easy. Peace.